to the one who has always felt different, not broken, not wrong, just different. Maybe you've often wondered why you seem to notice things others don't, why your mind drifts into deep thoughts, while the world around you seems focused on noise and speed, why crowds exhaust you but solitude feels like home. If that sounds familiar, then perhaps you are what I once called an intuitive introvert. In this video, I want to speak directly to that part of you, the quiet observer, the seeker, the deep feeler, and I'll explain why your inner world matters, even if others don't always understand it. By the end, I hope you'll see there's a reason you feel different, and it's not something to fix, it's something to understand and eventually embrace. Now, before we begin, let me ask you this. What's one moment in your life where you felt misunderstood? Leave a comment down below. I read them all. All right, let's begin. In my work, I described people in terms of how they relate to the world and where they get their energy. Introverts turn inward, extroverts turn outward, but it goes deeper than that. Some people process the world through what they can touch, see, and measure. These are sensors. Others rely on their inner perceptions, on patterns, dreams, and intuition. These are intuitives. Now combine the two. An introvert who is also intuitive. This is someone who lives primarily in the inner world of ideas, images, symbols, and feelings. They're often the quiet observers in a room, but their minds are rarely quiet. An intuitive introvert may not always express what they're thinking, but they feel it all. They notice subtle energies, hidden meanings, and emotional shifts. And they often understand people better than people understand themselves. It's not an easy path, but it's a meaningful one. If you've felt out of place most of your life, there's a reason. Most of the world is not built for people like you. It rewards quick decisions, loud opinions, and visible results. But you move differently. You think before you speak. You feel more than you can explain. You sense undercurrents, moods, intentions, the unspoken energy in the room. While others are reacting to what's right in front of them, you're noticing what lies beneath. That can be lonely, especially when you're young. You may have been told you were too quiet, too sensitive, too dreamy, too much on the inside and not enough on the outside. You may have asked yourself, why can't I just be like everyone else? But the real question is, why would you want to be? You see, most people are tuned into the visible, the measurable, the practical. You are tuned into the invisible, the meaningful, the mysterious. And that is no accident. This isn't about being better. It's about being different. Different in a way that's hard to explain, but impossible to ignore. Yes, it comes with discomfort. You might feel disconnected in groups. You might struggle to relate to small talk or feel overwhelmed in crowded places. And people might not understand why you need time alone, not because you're sad, but because that's where you come alive. But let me be clear, there is nothing wrong with you. You feel different because you are different. And difference, when understood, becomes direction. It shows you where you belong, what you're here to do, and how your unique way of seeing the world is exactly what the world needs more of. You just haven't been told that yet, until now. The outer world may not always understand you, but your inner world, that's where you truly live. It's rich, alive, layered with images, impressions, and meaning that others rarely glimpse. While many people process life through what they see, you process through what you sense. You feel things before they happen. You pick up on patterns, moods, or subtle shifts others overlook. You might walk into a room and immediately sense tension, even when no one has said a word. And you ask yourself questions most people never pause to consider. What does this mean? Where is this leading? What truth is hiding beneath the surface? You don't just see what's there, you see what could be. And often you can't help but imagine more. That's the gift of intuition. It isn't loud, it's quiet, but powerful. It shows up in dreams, gut feelings, and sudden insights that feel like they came from nowhere. And when you trust it, when you really learn to listen, it becomes your guide. But this inner world comes with its own complexity. You may feel distant during fast-paced conversations. You may zone out when topics feel shallow or surface level, not because you're rude, but because your mind naturally drifts toward deeper waters. You reflect on conversations hours later, long after they've ended. You reimagine past events, wondering what they meant or what they revealed. Sometimes you even sense things before they happen, and you don't know how you know, you just do. This is what makes your inner world both a sanctuary and a mystery. It's where meaning is born, where creativity takes shape, and where you slowly come to understand yourself. Most people rush through life, you retreat into it, you feel your way forward. And while that might look slow on the outside, inside, entire landscapes are shifting. The key is this: don't abandon your inner world to fit into someone else's outer one, because what grows in you, quietly, patiently, deeply, might one day light the way for someone else. Being an intuitive introvert is not easy. It's meaningful, yes, insightful, yes, but easy? Rarely. You feel more than most, and often you don't have the words to explain why. You might walk away from a conversation replaying every word you said, wondering if you came off too distant, too intense, or not enough. You might sense tension in a relationship before anything is said out loud. You carry a lot inside, and few people ever see the weight of it. One of the hardest things is feeling like no one really gets you, not because you haven't tried to connect, but because surface level connection drains you. You crave depth, meaning, soul, and that's not something everyone is ready for. There's also the challenge of overwhelm, bright lights, loud environments, constant notifications. It's too much, not just mentally, but energetically. The world often demands that you be faster, louder, more reactive. But your gifts unfold slowly, quietly, from the inside out. And that rhythm doesn't always match the pace of modern life. You might find yourself overthinking everything. Simple decisions like what to say in a text or whether to speak up in a meeting become tangled webs of what ifs. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I'm misunderstood again? And because you can imagine so many outcomes, sometimes you don't act at all. You may also carry guilt for needing space. You want to be there for people, but social interaction can be exhausting. Even when you love someone deeply, you still need solitude, not as an escape, but as a return to yourself. That's the thing about being you. You feel life, its beauty, its pain, its mystery so intensely that you need time to process it all. But others may not see that. They may only see you withdrawing. They might misread your stillness as disinterest or your quietness as judgment. And over time, that misunderstanding can hurt. But let me tell you this, there's nothing wrong with the way you operate. You are not broken, you are not weak. You are simply tuned to a frequency that most people haven't learned to hear. Yes, it makes life more complex, but it also makes it more profound. In a world that often worships logic, intuition is quietly dismissed. People want proof, charts, data, a straight line from cause to effect. But life is rarely that simple. And some truths can't be measured, only felt. That's where your gift comes in. Your intuition is not guesswork, it's not superstition, it's not just a gut feeling, it is a deep inner knowing, built from patterns you sense, emotions you absorb, and insights that rise from the unconscious mind. It's the reason you just know when something's off before anyone else sees it. It's the reason you often understand someone's pain without them saying a word. It's the quiet voice that nudges you toward the right decision, even when logic says otherwise. Throughout my life, I saw this gift again and again, especially in the people who came to me in pain. They couldn't always explain what they were feeling, but their dreams spoke clearly. Their drawings, their fears, their images, they all pointed to something the conscious mind had not yet grasped. This is the terrain of the intuitive introvert. And while others search for answers outside of themselves, you are capable of receiving answers from within. But this gift must be protected. Not everyone will understand your insights. Some will question them. Others may even make you doubt them yourself. That's why it's important to learn to trust yourself, not just what you think, but what you feel. And over time, that trust becomes your compass. You begin to notice when your intuition whispers, "This isn't right," or when it quietly says, "Yes, this is yours, this is the way." History is full of intuitive minds who shaped the world. Artists, poets, inventors, philosophers. They didn't just follow what was proven. They followed what was possible. Your insights may not always make sense at first, but they matter. So the next time you feel something deeply, without knowing why, pause. Don't dismiss it. Don't explain it away. Lean in. Your intuition is not a flaw. It's a sacred language. And the more you listen, the more fluent you become. If you've ever felt unseen, even in close relationships, you're not alone. As an intuitive introvert, your inner world is rich and complex, but not easily shared. You may love deeply, care fiercely, and notice everything, but you don't always say it out loud. To others, that can be confusing. Some may think you're distant. Some may think you're hiding something, but the truth is, you're just processing, feeling, sensing. You need time to understand your own emotions before expressing them, time to build trust before opening up fully, time to feel safe in a connection before revealing your deepest layers. In friendships, you may struggle with casual interaction. You want to skip the small talk and get to the real stuff. What moves you? What scares you? What do you dream about when no one's watching? But many people are not used to that kind of intimacy. They expect fast responses, constant updates, and endless social availability. And when you retreat or simply need space, they may take it personally. Romantic relationships can be especially difficult because you feel everything so intensely. You may be cautious with your heart, not cold, just careful. You notice micro expressions, energy shifts, the tone behind the words. Even when someone says, "I'm fine," you know when they're not. You sense the underneath of things. And when someone doesn't meet you there, doesn't acknowledge the emotional current, you can feel deeply alone, even while lying beside them. That's the challenge. But here's the beauty. When you do connect, truly connect, it's unlike anything else. Your loyalty runs deep, your presence is healing, and your love is not just emotional, it's intuitive. You often understand your partner's needs before they do. You sense when something is off, and you hold space for them in ways they may never have experienced before. You may not say much, but your presence says, "I see you." And for the right person, that is everything. Still, you must remember, you don't have to shrink your depth for someone else's comfort. You don't have to apologize for needing space, and you don't need to be easier to love. You just need someone who understands that silence doesn't mean disinterest, and solitude doesn't mean absence. You are not too much. You are simply wired to connect in ways that go far beneath the surface. And when you find someone who meets you there, it's not just love, it's resonance. In a world full of noise, the quiet ones are often overlooked. But I have found that it is precisely those who speak the least who often have the most to say. As an intuitive introvert, your role in the world may not be obvious. You may not be drawn to the spotlight. You may not chase status or applause. But that doesn't mean you are passive. You simply work from a different place. Within, you are a meaning maker, a depth seeker, a quiet guide in a world that is too often lost in surface distractions. While others react to what's urgent, you notice what's important. While others follow trends, you sense truths. You are not here to move fast. You are here to move deeply. Your role may not come with a title. It may not always be praised or even understood. But make no mistake, it matters. I have seen this in my patients, my students, and in myself. The intuitive introvert is often the one who makes connections no one else sees, who senses shifts in collective energy, who helps others see themselves more clearly, not by speaking loudly, but by listening deeply. You bring balance, you bring pause, you bring insight in times of confusion, and that is something the world desperately needs. But here's what I want you to remember. Your role is not to change who you are to fit the world. Your role is to bring who you are into the world, just as you are. That means honoring your rhythm, trusting your vision, and sharing your inner life in ways that feel true to you, whether that's through art, writing, healing, or simply presence. It's okay if your work isn't loud. It's okay if your path doesn't look like anyone else's. You are not here to conform. You are here to contribute quietly, steadily, and with great depth. The world may not always reward your sensitivity or celebrate your insight, but it needs it, now more than ever. You were never meant to survive by pretending to be someone else. You were meant to thrive as you truly are. But for that to happen, you need more than just self-awareness. You need self-honoring. Here's what I've learned about living well as an intuitive introvert. First, protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Be selective about your surroundings. Spend time with people who feel calm, not chaotic. And don't be afraid to say no to things that drain you, no matter how normal they seem to others. Second, stop explaining yourself. You don't need to justify your silence, your solitude, or your need for meaning. Those who understand won't ask. Those who don't won't understand, no matter how much you explain. Let go of the urge to be understood by everyone. Instead, focus on understanding yourself. Third, create regularly, even if no one sees it. Your inner world needs expression, whether it's journaling, painting, designing, building, or simply sitting in nature with your thoughts. You must give shape to what lives inside you. Your insights, your imagination, they're not meant to stay buried. Let them breathe. Fourth, honor your intuition. Practice listening to that quiet inner knowing, even if it defies logic, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Over time, your intuition becomes a trusted companion, not a vague feeling, but a guiding force. Fifth, stop forcing yourself to keep up. You were not built for burnout. You thrive in stillness, in reflection, in purpose. Build your life around what feeds you, not what exhausts you. And lastly, know that you don't need to fix yourself. The world may try to speed you up, smooth you out, or make you louder. But your gift is not in becoming like others. Your gift is in becoming fully yourself, the quiet, the deep, the unseen. This is your home, this is your strength. And when you stop trying to change your nature, you unlock the power to change your life. So now you know. The reason you've always felt different, the reason you drift in conversations, crave solitude, and sense things others miss, is not because you're broken. It's because you were born with a different kind of compass, one that doesn't point to what's popular, but to what's true. You are not here to follow the crowd. You are here to see beyond it, to hold meaning when others drop it, to bring depth to a world that too often lives on the surface. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to understand, observe, create, heal, transform. But for all that to happen, you must stop apologizing for your nature, because it's not just a personality trait, it's a path. And the more you walk it, gently, patiently, faithfully, the more you will find that everything you once saw as a weakness was actually a doorway to insight, to growth, to freedom. So, here is my final thought. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Let that journey begin. Thank you for watching, and see you in the comments section. Let's build a space for like-minded people so we can guide each other through life. Now, if you'd like more videos like this, subscribe, because sometimes just knowing there's a voice that understands you is enough. Stay true, stay deep, and never forget the world needs people like you.